Welcome back. I'm Benny Victory. We'll pick up where we left off in the last video, which was going over through the sequence and the discussions we will have when we get together for the first time to see if a reverse mortgage is a good fit to deal with your problems, your issues, and your concerns. So the last time we got together, we basically went over a sequence of questions to try to have a discovery of what concerns you have and how those concerns and problems, what their root cause is, and if left unresolved, what their consequence is going to be. Then we went over the reverse mortgage, we talked about its features, we discussed the benefits, we answered some questions that you may have and saw if it's a good fit to determine that it can solve some of your concerns. We left you with giving you a workbook to take home, to fill out. The design of the workbook is to help you not only see your monthly living expenses, but your overall entirety of housing budget, which is your personal expenses, your car, your insurance, your housing, everything, every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. And based on that, now in this second meeting, we're going to have a more informed conversation. Again, it's just a conversation. It's two friends sitting down. It's a collaboration. It's not, I'm not going to tell you because I'm afraid you're going to, sell me something. It's collaboration. You're going to share your concerns. I'm going to discuss what I can do. And if it works out and it's a good fit, then we're going to say, what's the next step? So this meeting, I will have received your workbook. I would have received it. I would have printed out. I would have prepared a proposal for you based on our conversation of whether you have a mortgage, whether you have a home equity line of credit, whether we're going to do a standalone reverse mortgage line of credit for you. We would have gone over that. And what we're going to do is sit down and I'm going to merge your existing issues with the features and products and benefits of what a reverse mortgage can do. And we're going to mesh this and we're going to see if it's a good fit for you. Because if it's not a good fit, then it doesn't really matter how much I think it's a fantastic product because it's not going to serve your needs. And I need you to see it the same way that I do. And if you don't, then I need to understand why you don't. So that's what we will be doing the second time. The second time is a lot easier because you're already familiar with the concepts, you're familiar with the problem. You would have worked your worksheet and realized that, oh my God, I'm short every month, $2,000 a month. I have $80,000 in the bank. At this rate going forward, I'm going to have maybe 40 months worth of savings left. And then what's going to happen? I'm going to run out of money. And if I run out of money, then what is my option? Okay, I still have 5 or 10 years left on my mortgage. I have a $1.5 million home. I owe $100,000 on it, which is not much. But guess what? I don't have any more money to pay my next monthly mortgage. What am I going to do? And that's not a conversation you want to have 3 years from now. And the reason you don't want to have that conversation 3 years from now is because things are going to get more complicated financially as you have less money. Because property values are fluid. Right now, we're in May of 2022. Property values are high again. But 2 years from now, 3 years from now, a year from now, what if they take a dip and drop 30%, 40%? Can you lose 30, 40% of your home appreciation equity when you're 75, 80 years old and have to wait another 5 to 10 years for it to come back? Chances are no, you can't. So we need to have really honest conversations at this point with what we know and what you know, and see if there's a game plan, how do we implement it? If there's a concern, how do we address it? And through this collaborative conversation that we've established as two friends going back and forth, we'll be able to address that. So the second time we meet, we're really we're really putting everything together. It's like you go to IKEA, you open up the box, you put all the pieces together, you have their little direction, and you start putting things together to see if it fits or not. And that's what we'll be doing. We go over the reverse mortgage proposal, I break it down, I show you, I go over the expenses, I go over the costs, which is going to be another video, because reverse mortgage expenses are an animal all to themselves. It's not like a traditional mortgage that you've done in the past, because reverse mortgage, part of it, which makes it desirable but also more expensive, is the cost of a required FHA mortgage insurance premium. And that insurance is expensive, but you have to understand what you're getting along with that insurance. And that really is a video that requires its own information, and that's probably going to be the next video that I'm going to do. But ultimately, all these videos are intended to help you along in a sequence of step-by-step going forward, so that when you leave the second meeting and you say, I understand and we want to move forward, then you're going to get another video that says, okay, here's the next step. This is what's involved in this phase. Here's what you're going to do. So in the second meeting, when we leave and you like what you hear and you see that your problems, issues, and concerns can be satisfied, and you can have your home work for you in a way that you don't have to stress and have anxiety over the next 10, 15 years of making a monthly mortgage payment, and you can still leave an inheritance for your children, and you still can have a line of credit. All these benefits, and you understand and you're on board, what happens then is I give you a list, I give you a document that you are going to go home and start gathering up the items that we need. Bank statements, proof of your homeowner's insurance, if you have a mortgage, a monthly mortgage statement, your tax bill. There's a very easy to follow list of items that you're going to put together. And then once you put that list together, then our next step is going to be, we're going to set up a credit counseling for you. It takes 20 to probably 40 minutes, and it's done with a third party. Now, the reason for this required credit counseling is that it serves as a checks and balance to make sure that what I've shared with you, what I've answered for you, the proposal that I've gone over with you, is really everything what I'm saying to you. Somebody else is telling you independent from me to answer all of your questions, so that if you felt shy, I guess at this point, in not sharing something with me, and you said to them, here's what my concern is, they're like, well, this is how it works. And you're like, oh, you know what? Benny did tell me that. That's the same thing that this guy is telling me. So it's a step-by-step process. But for the second step of us getting together, it's really going over your workbook, addressing the concerns. If you still don't see the concerns that I have for you, and I try to really bring the point home and say, look, if you're short and it's this much and you continue going forward, here's the consequence. Are you able to manage that some other way? Maybe you're only planning on staying in this house for 2 years and then you're going to sell it. Maybe that's your exit plan, and maybe that works for you. Maybe that's a good idea. But if you say, no, Benny, this is my house and I'm going to die in here, like a lot of clients do, then the question becomes, but Bob, you owe $150,000 in mortgage, the house is worth $1.2 million, and you only have $50,000 in your savings account, and your burn rate is $8,000 a month. How's the math going to work in you continuing to do this if you want to stay at home? It becomes a math problem. It doesn't become a reverse mortgage problem. It becomes a math problem. And that's really about it. I mean, that's all the notes I have for our second meeting. And along this process, whether it's the first meeting or whether it's the second meeting, you know, this is not in secret. This is not something where, like, don't tell anybody. If you have a trusted advisor, whether, you know, you have an attorney, whether you have a financial planner, whether you have a CPA, whether it's your children, you could bring them and share the videos with them or share the proposal with them. Give them the workbook and see if they have a different idea or a different opinion than what I'm sharing with you. If they want to come in to our conversation with your consent, it's perfectly fine with me. You know, I don't, it's not like I'm trying to hide the ball and I'm not letting you have this conversation with somebody else. To me, there's no secrets here. There's nothing to hide. And all I'm trying to do is point the benefits of this program that I've been able to help with other people, including my own parents. You know, the funny thing is, I've been in the mortgage business for over 20 years, and the first reverse mortgage that I got was from my own parents, and I didn't even do it. I had somebody else do it because I wasn't familiar with reverse mortgages back then. But because of that, I got to see what a huge lifeline it was to help my own parents. And I believe in the product. I think it's an incredible product. I know there's a lot of negativity around it. I know there's a lot of misconception and misinformation around it, which is really sad, because if you understand the history, if you understand the intent, if you understand the legislation, if you understand the features and benefits of the program, you should be so excited, God willing, if you qualify to get it, that such an existing program is available for you. But like everything else, there's a good use for it, and there's misinformation and bad use for it. And there's also bad agents who don't do a good job of explaining the program, or maybe they have a different motive or intention with the client getting it, and they want to burn the relationship, and that's all it is to them, is just a quick turnaround money-making thing. That's not what my experience is, and that's not the relationship I want to have with my clients. So this video is basically about the second time we meet, and it's a lot easier and a lot quicker, the entire process, because most of the heavy lifting is done in the first video. If you have any questions, if there's anything that I've left out that you need addressed, please reach out to me. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in person. The good thing with these videos, quite honestly, that I'm excited about is, if you watch it, then when we get together and go over this discussion, it's old hat. It's like riding a bike. Plus, if you tell someone that you're going to go meet and talk to someone about a reverse mortgage, and they're like, oh, don't do it, and they're going to rob you and they're going to take away your house and all of that, you could forward this video to that person and say, look, this is what's going to happen. And even if you don't come along, this is what's going to happen, because it's on tape. That's what happens. So I look forward to sitting you across from me, having a nice collaborative conversation and assisting you, regardless of what you decide to do. At the end of whether our first meeting or second meeting, I promise you, you will be better off than where you are right now, which is you might not even have an exact idea of how much your monthly expenses are. At a minimum, my gift to you is that you're going to walk away and you're going to have this 14, 15-page workbook, and you're going to know to the penny how much you spend. And just knowing this will put you head and shoulders financially over other people who I guarantee you have no clue what their monthly expenses are, what their burn rate is, and how much money they're going to have before they run out. So I look forward to speaking with you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being my client. God bless you, and see you on the next video.